Chapter 4 Matthew Reads Lost. "Matthew," I exclaim as I open my front door. "What are you doing here? I did not think you'd be here until Saturday," I mention. "Joffrey, I'm too excited. I've spent the $30,000 you gave me," Matthew explains. "What did you spend it on?" I ask. "A van," Matthew says. "Why would you buy a van?" I ask. "I thought the game host said to buy a van. Plus, I believe it's good luck." "Army Sergeant Clark reporting to Matthew," Joffrey says, dumping a huge problem into Matt's lap. 17 years, Matt. 17 years I've dealt with the sound. Again I ask, "Do you know what it is?" "Did you do something? Touch something?" Matthew asks. "It could have been anything." Matthew begins pushing the blame on Clark. "Who really's Joffrey?" Clark, defending himself, says, "Look, man, I spent years locked up. If the sound is coming from me, well, it could not be. My radiation levels were brought to zero the first 30 days in. I'm a clean man, Matt. Daily, weekly, monthly do I rid of that. How do you think I served for so long? Just as noble as you are, if not more so. If that sound out there is due to radiation, we must have bathed in it. Like I said, I was brought to zero after the first 30 days in locked up. And it only took that length of time because I was on paid summer leave. I movie binged." "What about the sun's coronal?" Matthew asked. "Right, exactly. I forgot about that. Plus, the President of the USA did not make a full disclosure. All that he disclosed was a small pandemic. Actually, Matt, now thinking about it, I must confess, I'm mildly scared. Not that I live my theories, but I must wonder how much radiation, the amount of radiation left behind after Y2K. In the year 2021, a solar maximum is looming ever close with each passing day. What is the sound? I've watched an internet video describing much sunlight being the cause of communication devices being able to communicate without electricity. I so quickly forget the reason for the sound after all day trying to ignore them. Why do they harass me? Days of screen loading now I remember. Although it's not an official answer, I have a starting point. My guess are the levels of radiation on Earth, and which are from where is an EMP causes the gravitational pulls, feelings of others that are not there, and uncomfortable movements. The levels of radiation from Earth's sunlight have virtually, but not originally, caused hallucinations and impossible matrix-like communication, make an extremely fuzzy reality. Some use this power to torment, rape, and kill, most likely not because they desire it, but rather cannot make sense of the radiation left behind after the EMP of the universe, and are now in a fight of their lives. Considering my other thoughts, GB receiving signals from the World Wide Web, this World Wide Web would have just been the beginnings of the levels of all sorts of radiation that I would have come across. It is possible as well those higher levels of radiation were elsewhere, and slowly blew by wind to America, making large amounts of radiation in Florida in the beginning months of the year 2004. Joffrey confesses. "Matt, all this funny talk, well, if it helps, I should confess. One day as I was bathing myself in lust and pleasure, I made away for more lust. I began to covet the entire universe." Matt, eagerly listening, says, "Go on." "The powerful creatures would give me the entire universe that was growing as a virus in the corner of the huge mothership. Anxiously I wanted it, I wanted the people, I wanted sex. To be secretly given the entire universe, I would have to be responsible for moving the universe from one spot to the other in the huge mothership." A big pause. All is quiet. "I don't get it," Matthew states. Matt, the thing you said about Y2K, about the virtual life in the moon, and how it does not feel as the Earth." "I did not say that," Matthew says. "Evil was it presented to me, and if I did it, I was to be hated by everyone for moving them, for killing them. I was to be responsible for," Joffrey declares. "Well, what happened?" Matthew asks. "I'm tormented in my mind for thinking about it. Sometimes I feel as if I'm not good, and as if I do not fit in because I killed them." "Is it good to know I did not?" Joffrey states. "An EMP for being a virus to the Earth, or was it to give the actual growth a home?" Joffrey states. "Whatever it was, Matt, it wasn't me. Neither one sounds well, Joff," Matthew says. "Yeah, but I don't want to be evil to us, the virus," Joffrey states. "Plus, the pain, Matt. I've not felt at home in a very long time. I would not wish such evil on anyone." Matthew says, "So you're not responsible for moving or shutting down their body electrical systems." "Exactly." Both men pause for a moment. Matthew stumbles in thought. "I got it," he begins to yell. I just answered the question. The universe came to you as evil, because they are on a trial for killing the entire Earth. Your heart, like you said, I do not want to be evil to us, the virus, and if you were evil to us, you most likely would need to repent, and in doing so, they, the universe, would be doing the same, justifying the works, justifying the huge electromagnetic pulse, the very close extinction of mankind. Where's Dora? She's working, Matthew states. Did you eat breakfast? Yes, I did. Anyways, that's not why I'm here. I want to quickly walk to the bridge. Are you coming? Matthew asks. No, go yourself, I say. I'm going now. Matthew rushes out the door to the path that leads to the old covered bridge. I look through the kitchen cupboards for something tasty to eat. I sure am hungry. I open the fridge and grab the milk. Was I supposed to follow or meet up with Matthew? I put the milk jug to my face and drank. I should go see what he is up to. I gently place the milk back in the fridge, making sure the cap was tightly on. I rush out the door. I quickly find the ridge path and walk towards the covered bridge. Matt, Geoffrey calls. Matthew's eyes stay fixed on the wood boards of the right-hand side wall of the covered bridge. Words appear there. They read, I spy with my little eye. Is that someone with a lie? In fear to make you cry, the monster now says goodbye. Matt, what's happening? I yell. Matt gazes at the wall of the bridge. He lifts his hands up and points towards the wall. I look. I see a heart-shaped scribble. What? I question. The scribble? Matt looks again. Shocked, he sees nothing. What, Matt? I speak. Matt decides to play it cool. I thought I just saw something, Matthew explains. I suddenly recall my experience here at the bridge not too many days ago. I was about to describe it. I stop. I should not. It could make the backwards pull worse. Weird, Matt explains, still staring at the bridge wall. Matthew's phone begins to ring. He answers it. Down, Matt says out loud. He aggressively hangs up the phone. What? I question. Matt storms off. Matt, I say, hold on. I catch up to him as he's getting in his Jeep. What happened? I command. Creditor found my personal account. How much did he take? I ask. All of it, Matthew says. How much is all of it? I ask. All. A-double-L. All of it, Matthew says, carrying a huge attitude. He speeds out of the driveway, burning his rubber tires as he went, leaving a cloud of smoke behind him. I shake my head, mildly confused. I turn around and walk toward the front of my home. It is good to be home. Still not being able to shake Matthew's strangeness, I decide to turn on the television. I flip on the news. I watch a few minutes. Looks like the world is not ending, I say. I flip the channels a few times. Horrible movie. I turn up the volume. I push back the recliner chair I'm sitting in. I shut my eyes. Within an hour I must have drifted off. Suddenly I'm startled by a sound. Cut it out, Mike, cut it out. I see a man with a 10-inch kitchen knife. He begins playing with the knife inside himself. His insides fall out. Ah! I pick up my head from the back of the recliner. I look at the television. I see a man telling his buddy to cut it out, stop picking the sheetrock off the wall. I shake my head. Man, I'm seriously losing it. I begin to wrestle against my mind. Bet you have problems with knives. I pull at my nerves, hoping that I don't have to give attention to this contradictory thought. I should do something. I know, I will go spend time at my store. I quickly get dressed. I show up my place of work. I unlock the door. I look behind me, just quick enough to catch the sun beginning to set behind me. Draining my strength, I woke through the night. That morning I would almost swear that I began to hear others in my mind. Whether they were real or fake, I do not know. My mind told me so, due to the pull on my mind making a truthful, non-truthful statement, cutting it out. I fought, in my mind now not knowing what to do with the lack because I fight nothing, I begin to hear others. I thought I heard Matthew telling me about a forced order, and I was to be part. Matthew, I say in my mind, I'm coming home. You're there, right? To my mind, Matthew said right. Once I got home, I did not find Matthew. In fact, I did not see Matthew for a few weeks. Geoffrey, open up. I open the door. Good to see you. And Dora, you look wonderful, I say, covering the mildly psychotic mind. I have treats made out just for them. They both took a seat on the sofa. I pull a chair next to them. Matthew picks his head up. He grabs hold of a magazine and begins to look on the inside. He reads out loud. Man claims to time travel, and that through time. I recall the photo on the magazine looked like a painting. Man claims he took the photo in the future. Why do all the future photos look so fake? I speak while laughing. Matthew says, to time travel, we must hide it. We must hide from structure, the law of the time of structure. What? I ask. I look towards Dora. I turn towards Matthew. Matthew's eyes roll to the back of his head. Only the white parts of his eyes show. Something appears to have possessed Matthew. Matthew begins murmuring. Machine has my power. To use my power, the rest of me must not be there. To gain my power back, I should not use the machine. People built the machine to gain extra power, gaining power over their thoughts. They were found lacking. They wanted power over the extraterrestrials, and thus forsaking all power. It is possible building the machines was direct defiance. Extraterrestrials gave people the liberty to think that they could, but they were never supposed to use it. It appears as if they stole lack. Because now we are less than the extraterrestrials, being stuck inside a machine. Aliens reign over us. But do they? The people who do not have part in willingly losing their power must serve extraterrestrials, hoping to regain the Earth and its independence. Those stuck in the machine most likely will be covered with Earth, as in places the Earth begins to burn. The rest must serve the extraterrestrials in hopes to prove worthy of biological, evolving independence. Serving aliens, yet not serving the machines, means structure can or cannot be there, as well as life itself. No promises, more like an aware dream than anything. Most would serve the extraterrestrials so that they have a less rather than a dream, i.e., meaning of something. Living structure. Those in the machine purposely destroy what they built after concluding they gave this machine their power. Those who did became less than all creatures who have the least amount of power, leaving the earth empty, void of plants, water, and creatures. Dreaming, it can be within the ashes and rocks, like that of the walls of the space hall, small stones, unified theory is structure. Without can be an aware living dream, no structure. Back at Y2K, some gave their power to the extraterrestrials, begging to be privileged with the machine lifestyle. This was granted, yet nobody truly believed it had happened. Once the creature/machine being built notice lacked, this machine took power, captivating every Earth being. Sticking them all in the eyes of the earth, they were placed in the machine. To those in outer space, they were placed within the ship. The 90s were given the request to be foolish, thus with and without the aliens. With a law that must respond, yet without the hopes of the foolishness of the people. It is almost as if some of the people are no longer in charge, yet I will not try that for now. For me, it is irresponsible to act too far in any direction. Living as the extraterrestrials do is to value life, balance out the play in the stillness. That is now. Doing a dreamlike thing, one would never know if they will run into stillness. How long will they pay for their play? The balance is now, but who truly knows how to attain themselves? Who truly knows? Matthew says, shaking his arms up and down as a college professor would. I have been released, Matthew says. Those machines attempted to kill me. It had to release me back on the earth with all power. The balance is now, Matthew yells. Matthew continues, people or no people outside of the machine. Obviously there are people outside, though they could be from the visual perception of something electronic connected to my brainwaves. I am all power in a dream, yet I hope to balance it out enough to value what I have been through. Coming back from the machine, or one could say the moon, was obviously full of gravity. I could have almost guaranteed that I had been severely punished for the past couple of years. Personally, I started floating back years ago, so I suppose I was not all that prepared to see the gravity of the earth. According to some of my past studies, a lot has changed, including living settings, people who still exist, many connected to machines. I believe many were laid out and forced to participate in the machines through brain chips, cell phones, and computers. Most could not stand in the gravity of the earth, so they held onto their mortality while playing. There could be more people out there. It could be several more years before any huge population decline. Most of the people out there are non-responsive due to being connected to a machine. For me to run into any significant problems, at first I would have to attempt to lose part of my responsibilities. If I be as wise as a holy man, I will go undetected without a threat, non-forceful, captured into the machine. Yet if I defy power by folly, I could be in danger of a quick yet inescapable abduction, and that by the machines. Matthew collapses and falls asleep in the door's lap. What was that about? Matt never made believe as a child, Dora states, laughing a bit. As Matt sleeps on Dora's lap, Dora begins to speak, yet not as Dora. A male's voice, without Matt, begins to speak. A slow building houses, so slow they are used as long-running businesses. As the businesses operating, children are born. The earth has always been lovely, a wonderful balanced earth. Slowly we build, none would see us build. It is this tiny trillions of years construction. As ever we live, we sin not, we choose not evil nor good. As a tree we grow, as a bird we exist, growing the largest tree is the goal. Joffrey asks, what's the earth? As it is, it will always be, Dora says with a male's voice. Dora continues, many sections in the brain, making a head, making a body. One thought speaks, as small as it is, I listen. They were and become a thought, a living thought. These thoughts, per se, make an enduring energy in the mind. Why not listen? Noticing I lost my mind, perhaps there I will find it. They, the thoughts, become other than. Seemingly they, the thoughts, were never considered in hopes to never lose the mind. Madness. What did happen to Kelly, Jane, or Eric? Thoughts of mine. Simple thoughts,